Evening, everyone. Hope you're well. Welcome to another round in the Super League. Round four, we're up to. Hopefully, sound problems from last week will not return. Indeed, we can, Alf. Good test successfully completed. Test successfully completed. Hopefully, you can all hear me as well. So if there's any problems as usual or any robotic things going on, then please let me know, and I will try to adjust on the fly. So, see that a couple of people have already turned up in the chat. Good to see you, of course. Am I talking through a sock? No, I'm not actually. Right. Try like this instead. See if the sock has been removed, or if it's okay. Feedback appreciated. Chance better. It's kind of weird that all these expensive microphones and stuff like that they are no match for the built-in mic and the sort of basic Asus laptop. But there you go. Shouldn't be messing around with stuff that's already working. So we'll keep it like this. Good, good, good. Okay, well, I'm happy that you can all hear. We'll see if we can just get a couple more people on, and we'll start kicking off with some games. As you can probably see on the screen, we have our lineup for the evening here. East Coast and Vikings, Exiles and Badgers, Foss Road and Los Santos as a big one, Fulchester against Staggington, Northernburn against Dudley, Sancta against Haggis, and Sloths against Stanley. I got a couple of absentees this evening. A few people that definitely won't be able to make it, and a couple of people who are running a little bit late as well. So we'll see what we can get out of the way. Um, I think as Ross is not going to make it, and I don't know if Ian's going to make it. I haven't heard from him recently, but maybe could potentially kick off with Sancti against Haggis. That's a big one there as well. And hello, Mr. Edwards. Good to see you. Good to see you. Um, while we ponder that, or while I ponder that, and while we wait, we can have a quick look at the table. As mentioned, we don't really start to issue the stats and all this kind of stuff until game week 5 because yeah, there's let's say gaps in it. It's not really giving you a lot of information. Some of you have only had 2 games. A bunch of you have only had 2 games actually. So we'll wait a little bit until we share that another game week or two. Exiles are off to a flyer, so are East Coast Vikings as well. They have a battle with East Coast tonight, of course, for the 100% record. Indeed, no co-comps in the end. Was spotted Alex Steve, who was scheduled for it, did not make it back. I presume you haven't bought a microphone yet, even though the built-in laptop thing will do. And yeah, a bit of a late change in the schedule for the co-coms with Steve not being available, but he'll be back now. He'll be here next week for sure. So you can look forward to that. His encyclopedic knowledge of everything that's gone on. Oh, Steve, you are here listening in the car. Excellent. Um, good, 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 good. Um, as I was saying, this is the league table. It's obviously early early, early days yet, but the Sloths not off to the best start. Same with Sancte, 1 goal and 7. At least Sloths have a point. Fulchester's conceded 8. They changed their keeper and their tactic. It's a couple of surprise tactical changes this evening. Fulchester's one of them, and Frey back in the fold. Um, and yeah, it should be interesting to see if any of those teams can get points on the board this evening. Can't have everyone down there at C where we'd like to leave it as late as possible to have these kind of I would rather not leave it as late as possible to have these kind of catch uppy things. We should all be involved, of course, in the or have the hope of the queue and of the top 6, of course. Anyway, enough rambling, I guess, from me. I think we can probably start with Sancta against Haggis. Seems like as good a place as any to get the evening kicked off. We do have, of course, Northern Burn and Dudley. I think Steve and Ian are both about, so we can go with this one as well. But let's try with Sancte against Haggis first up this evening. And here's Tato evening. Uh, so we have a look at Sancte. They have changed their tactics again. So hugely, but a little bit to accommodate some of their quality players. Interestingly, they go with a three at the back, not something you see that often in the Super League, to be completely honest. But they've tried to, or they've decided to gamble with that, and yeah, we'll see if it pays off for them. I can't remember if we ever had a successful back three in the Super League. At some point, probably, but when exactly that was escapes me at the moment. Not entirely sure if Kristen Val should be set as the captain, so we'll let the game decide, or rather put it on Oliver Kahn. I guess that's the most obvious choice. And yeah, Sancte, as mentioned, they are off to a pretty poor start, and we'll have to play catch up, of course. To some teams already, and to another couple. Hopefully, they will not lose ground to them. They are up against Haggis. Haggis have made one change. I believe Figo's come in for Casas. That's pretty much it. Mr. Campbell, just in time to enjoy your game against Sancte. Maybe change the DMC as well. I think Petkov has come in for Kobias Really. Tsatsi stays on, of course. Jeremy's in the center. Simhao, yeah, I'm not sure how much I expected from him. He got off to a fairly poor start, but in the first game, but he's soon shown his worth. He's got a goal and an assist to his name. Haggis, of course, had a bit of a tough one last time out against Dudley, but apart from that, they have had a solid start to the season. They are away. It's a game on the road though, so we will see if they can overcome that disadvantage and pick up the 3 points here, or if Sancte will get their first points of the season. So, without further ado, let's kick opening game off and see how it goes with the new formation at Sancte and the introduction of Figo at AMC for the Haggis. 20 minutes in, and not a giant amount has been happening. Couple of chances for both sides, but yet to find the back of the net. Just coming up to half time now. Just a couple of minutes left, and it's Haggis looking slightly more dangerous, I would say, that's Sancte, but nothing really of note happening. They've definitely had the more chances. 5 shots, 4 on target, Sancte 1 and 0. Not ideal for the home side. I believe there is an instruction from Ross with regards to Luis Saha, so we'll have a quick look at that. Saha, who I believe had a decent stint at Haggis at some point in the past. We'll bring up the Haggis stats here. Shots are kind of evenly distributed. Cannavaro and Simao are the ones on a 6, but Simaro usually comes good in the second half. Campbell says okay till 60. So let me just double check those instructions from. Only chance I would make is at 60, get Saha on for the lowest rated for. Okay, yeah, so we'll wait a little bit with that as well. Okay, very good. Second half of this then. We'll start that in just a second. Let's change the commentary speed down a little bit so we can catch it on the 60. Haggis looks as if they are continuing where they left off, and it's Baumer with the scoring his first goal for Haggis since joining, and coming down that left hand side makes it 1-0 for the visitors. Simao now getting involved as well. There's an Elka as well. We've not seen that much of an Elka so far. It is, of course, Oliver Kahn back in the Sancte goal was dropped, but Chris Kirkland, of course, had a little bit of an incident last game, and yeah, he's not featuring tonight. There was Van Nistelrooy, of course, previously of Haggis, or is he? Anyway, seem to think that he is. And there's Figo with the follow-up. Oliver Kahn smothers the ball. We get up till the 60. Figo's on a 6, and Cannavaro's on a 6, and Simao's on a 6. A little bit surprising. Simao usually improves early in the second half. Cannavaro, unusual to see him on the 6. And there's, of course, Figo. Fitness-wise, you have no real concerns, Ian. So if you want to make any changes, feel free to do so, of course. Meanwhile, over at Sancte, the worst striker goes off. It's Roque Santa Cruz. So he goes off, and it's Luis Saha that comes on. I think he stays on the right hand side. But either way, that's probably fair. Um, so that's the change for Sancte. We go back to Haggis and see if Ian wants to make any changes here. He's got a couple of right-sided attacking players, and it's one of them that we get to see here. Daniel Cruz for Figo, and that's probably going to be it. And Elkan Montella keeping their roles up top. Evening, Paul. Good to see you. Just in time for you to enjoy the last 30 minutes of Sancte against the Haggis. Sancti have just put on Louis Saha. Let's see if he can make the difference for them. It looks as if they've had one or two chances in the second half, which is more than they had in the first half. But Hag is still pretty much in control of this one. Good save there for the keeper, though, and Sancti are coming forward a little bit more now. Just a couple of minutes left to play, though. There is Saha. There's Riquelme, Van Nistelrooy. There's so much quality in that Sancti side. They're just somehow not getting there. And it looks as if Ooh, huge changes for the huge saves rather by the Haggis keeper there at the end. Sancte really pushing for that equaliser, but it stays 1-0 to the Haggis and an away win. Uh, the Haggis up to 9 points, I believe. A very good start to the season for them. Bauer with the goal, Montella with the assist. I think it was indeed. Simao stayed on a 6. Figo didn't really grab his chance there. Against Jeremy's kind of poor tackling, kind of poor tackling. And over at Sancte, Oliver Kahn gets a 9, Ashley Cole only on a 6, Van Nistelrooy, Riquelme. I mean, as mentioned, so much quality in that side. Maybe central defenders could be a little bit better, but Giuliano's in there, Perry as well. They are doing quite well. It's just a question of starting to find the back of the net for Sancte. They do have a lot of quality in that side, and Ross will no doubt be doing his best to get the Sancte boys on the board. I don't think some points on the board. I don't think he'll be too pleased with spending another season towards the bottom of the table, but we will see what the future brings for Sancte. We've had Tato arriving as well. I forget who the Badgers are playing. Exiles, indeed. We could do that, or we could go Northern Burn against Dudley Hill. That's another interesting one. Let's do Northern Burn against Dudley Hill as both Steve and Ian are here. So we go to Ian Edwards first. I don't believe there are any changes. They've had a tough start to the season, Northern Burn. It's not often they're down in ninth at this point. Oh, here is Neil. So that's a good timing for the potential exiles. So Badgers clash coming up next. No changes though. Believes in Owen, believes in Ferguson, believes in the side. Kamuna is in there because Sol Campbell is of course still injured. So yeah, it's a bit of a tough start for Northern Burn, but we know the manager, we know the players that are at his disposal, and they will no doubt come good. Or just a question of when. Will it be tonight as they take on Dudley Hill? Limited changes for Dudley Hill going into this one. So limited that I've actually forgotten what they are, but it wasn't a lot anyway. I believe a bench chair. Franca and Henri, I think, came in, maybe, and a new striker. Let me double check. Franca and Henri came in there, indeed, for Nikiforenko and the injured Collins. Indeed, those were the changes for Dudley Hill. It'll be good for, I don't know if it'll be good for them, but Ian will no doubt be pleased to see Nikiforenko and Collins both still out, but Frank and Henry obviously adequate replacements. Mr. Campbell, Ian says that if Steve gets a result here, he'll start to pay attention. So maybe it's ninth versus sixth as Northern Burn take on Dudley Hill. The Furnace. Solid start from Northern Burn. I think they're the only team who had a chance in the first 15, but there was sand for Dudley Hill. coming forward and trying to get a goal for the visitors. Around 40 minutes now, and not a lot has happened really. Roberto Carlos, who had the bunch of good assists last season, trying to get one here as well, trying to find sand, but it stays 0-0 going into half time. Northern Burn only one shot on target. Dudley Hill, four visitors have had by far the best of this, even though it doesn't look as if they've had that much of the possession. And we'll go to Dudley Hill first. Montero's on a six, so is Cafu, so is Vogel, recently arrived, of course, from Fulchester. And Terry Henry as well. Terry Henry as well. Mr. Edwards goes as is. Predictably so. There's Henrik Larsson, there is Desai, and there's Luca Toni on the bench for Dudley Hill. If Steve wants to do anything at this point, Buffon is already on a 9, Hippie is on a 6, Kamuna's on a 6, and Imar's on a 6. Apart from that, people are doing relatively well for Northern Burn. They are just not scoring, which is always a bit of an issue, of course. But we'll wait and see if Steve wants to do anything, any changes at halftime, or if we're rolling until 60. Um, and no, you can have as many looks as you want. Just keep your eyes on the road as well. You've got Montero, as mentioned, on a 6, Cavo and Fogel on a 6, and Thierry Henry. Your bench you should be familiar with. Good till 60, we roll. That's good, that's good. Good old Buffon. Yeah, sometimes he does turn up. Sees at the traffic lights. Very good. Um, Sand again getting involved. Didn't expect him to see play such a big role for Dudley this evening, but he has done. And there was Owen trying to put one in the back of the net for Northern Burn. Not sure if Ian has started to regret the swap of Inzaghi for Michael Owen yet, or not. Was it a direct swap? I doubt it, but bringing in Owen instead of Inzaghi. As I say that it is Michael Owen who opens the scoring, manager will be delighted. Um, it's all working out well for them. Commentator's curse, we've seen that, or commentator's blessing, we've seen that before. We're at 60 minutes, more or less. Dudley Hill continuing the good form from the first half, 7 shots, 6 on target, Buffon stopping everything so far. Northern Burn on 3 and 2, but they are leading. The state of that indeed. Cafu, Thierry Henry, and Ebisand are not having the best evening so far. Steve, they are on 6s. If there's anything you want to change, as mentioned, Tony, Desai, and Larson on the bench. Two obvious names to bring in there. If Ebbe Sanders has 4 shots, 3 on target, nothing from Henry and nothing from Frank either. Ian says as is, Tony Fasan, and that's it, says Steve, so we shall do that. Even more of a physical presence there. Hippie and Kamuna still having a tough time in the Northern Burn defence, allowing Dudley a bunch of chances, but the Buffon holding steady in the goal. We kick off the last half hour. Ian went as is, of course, if I didn't mention that already. There is a yellow card for Hippia. It's getting worse and worse for the central defenders for Northern Burn, but somehow Dudley Hill just can't find the back of the net. Michael Owen somehow with a header. Couldn't find the back of the net though. 25 minutes, or 15 minutes to play rather, and it's still oddly with the best of the chances. Wayne Dade reaches into his pocket, finds a yellow card, dishes that out to someone. Tony got knocked over, off the crossbar from Netfit. Chances are plenty for Dudley Hill. And will this be the last chance of the game? It looks like it. Oh, Northern Burn somehow holding firm there. 10 shots, 8 on target for Dudley Hill. Slight champing here with Buffon in the Northern Burn goal, keeping a clean sheet this evening. We shall have a look at the Dudley Hill stats, and 8 for Roberto Carlos and for Fogel. They also picked up yellow cards, 7s and 6s pretty much everywhere else. Luca Toni did pretty much nothing after coming on. hard luck Steve. I think that's a phrase that's been uttered a few times in the Super League history. But hard luck indeed. 8 shots on target. You'd really hope to get something from that, but wasn't wasn't to be this evening. And it's Sami Hyypiä, who's on a 6 at half time, who somehow manages to get a 9 and a man of the match award at the end. Bunch of headers that he won there. Yeah, that's a tough one. Tough one. And Bubong drops to an 8 somehow, somehow. Anyway, it was Verong with the assist, and it was Michael Owen with the winner. Of course, Northern Burn manager Ian will be delighted with the result, even if the performance still leaves a lot to be desired for his side. Anyway, moving on this evening. I've not seen Dan about yet, so apologies, Alex. We'll have to wait a little bit. We have got both Tato and Neil here, so we will run with the Exiles against Badgers game. Um, I think I forget what the changes are. Rayat comes in for Giggs for sure was one, and Davids for Foe is the other one I think for Badgers for this one. Um, Seems plausible anyway, so I'll stick to that particular story. Badgers are seventh, not had the best start to the season, not had the worst either, and of course Ledenev, who scored in the opener, he's had a good couple of games and a not so good one, but 2 goals from him. Manager will be pleased with that. Sosan Salas done okay. No, there is no Fletcher. Fletcher, there's no space for him. I think he was there in an MC role earlier on. So those are the badges for the evening. And at Exiles, I think the only chance is that Solis comes onto the bench for someone I've forgotten. For Casano, indeed, that was the only change for Exiles. Exiles, who are obviously off to a fantastic start to the season, 9 points from the first 3. And they're looking to add to that total this evening, no doubt. With both managers in attendance, we shall kick this one off and see if Exiles can continue their run or if the visitors, the Badgers in their lovely away kit, can do something about that this evening. It looks as if Badgers have had the best of the chances so far, but Exiles are not giving up just yet. Great football from Badgers there. Raul trying to get involved. Vieri, of course, is there for Exiles. Always happy to find the back of the net. But it's that man again, the AMC the DMC rather, with a long arrow, Smoots, who's coming forward, but Yedinev and not standing in the shadow of Smoots for long. I guess they are as likely as they are unlikely goal scorers for Exiles and Badgers. You wouldn't see those two getting much game time. Never mind actual goals anywhere else. And Neil goes as is. An interesting first half though. Plenty of chances for both sides. 5 shots for Exile, 6 for the Badgers. In terms of the Badgers stats here, Stam on a 6, Scally's on a 6, Klump is on a 6, and so are the 2 strikers. Midfield has been working hard. Of course, they've got Davids being back in there. It's a big win for them. He's on an 8, so doing a solid job in there and seeing Badgers through here to the half time. Let's see who got the assist. It was no one. It was Ledenev who did it all by himself again. Will we see Fuccini? Will we see Keane? Those are probably the questions that the manager is asking himself at the moment. Meanwhile, we'll have a look at Exiles. Smooch is on an 8. He's the only one who's had a standout performance so far. He also did it by himself. No assist there. Christian Vieri struggling in the air. 7 and 1 out of his headers. It's not pleasant reading for the manager, I'm sure. Neil says he sticks, so that's fine. Right. Fight fire with fire, says Tato as he sticks an arrow on Davids up to AMC and keeps Paredes and Scally a little bit further back. Yeah, good to see some managers trying something different here. We will run that until 60 and see how it goes. It's Damn, that's already been booked, and he picks up a red card. That is not good for the Badgers. Will the manager go one at the back with the long arrow on Davids as Jaap Stam picks up his second yellow? Stam, of course, who had a bit of a tough time at, was it at Sloths? And not done particularly well in this game. We will see what the manager will do. Potentially a one at the back. Remove the front arrow and go one at the back. No arrows on DMC, so we will keep this. Neil, of course, if you want to do something at this stage, I believe the rules are that you have the opportunity to do so. Steez after an out of league Australian. We shall run till 60 and see if anything happens. It was, of course, outside of the box, so only a yellow card and no penalty. But the Exile still coming forward and looking dangerous. It's also called offside there. No goals yet for either of the Badgers striker. Um, Lots of injuries for Tsigalko. We've not seen him in full flow for Badgers, really. He's going to be as much as scoring again here. I'm going to be livid. Well, we will see if we will see if he will score 6-4 in terms of shots on goal and on target. Badger stats. Actually playing pretty well, apart from Berto Sosa, who will no doubt be replaced for the lovely Armand. Um, Neil Scally's not having a great game either, but everyone else is doing pretty well. Um, mm, who was the one I just signed? They haven't signed yet, Ian. We've placed offers. We've placed offers. None of them are actually signed on the dotted line yet. So you might have some competition, but we will see how it goes. Um, Meanwhile, let's see. Sorry for one center. Otherwise, as is. Okay, so let me just do all of this stuff, and we will get this show back on the road. Keen for Sosa and Fuzzini for Salas. We will do that, and it's going to be badges for you. And over at Exiles, we're going to get Solis for Vincente, Alonso Solis coming in and see if he can do anything. Recent signing for Exiles, I believe he came in the summer. Out of league signing. I think we found him down in Nigeria where he was hanging around for some reason. He's not done too badly down there, so we'll see what he does for Exiles this evening. Coventry speed back up again. Can't be here all evening, and both sides continue to create chances. So really see a clear favourite just yet. Of course, Exiles having that extra player should give them the advantage, but would you believe it? I guess you would. One of the Badgers' favourite, Rayad, probably got the assist as well. Badgers, the 10-men Badgers, fought back and have ended the Exiles' unbeaten run. Exiles stay on 9 points, and it's one of Tato's favourite players, of course, coming in and getting the goal there. I mean, 9 shots, 5 on target, 6 on target, a very, very even game. A bit of a surprise winner there, perhaps, but probably deserved, and just as a reward for the bravery of the manager there. Solis came in and didn't do much. Let's see, it was Zanetti actually who got the assist, not Rayad, who had a fairly quiet game, but the man of the match, Javier Zanetti, with the assist there, setting up Armand Fuccini for the goal, secured the win for the Badgers. Didn't see that one coming after that red card for Yapstam, but fair enough, fair enough. And glad it was Armand. Yeah, indeed, indeed. Good to see some of the big names from the fringes coming in and getting the wins here. So excellent. Congratulations to Badgers. Exciting games, exciting finish, and commiserations to Exiles for losing their 100% record. Not seen Dimple around yet. What else do we have still to play? We have Scott should be on his way. Mike should be on his way. Smuts is here. I've not seen Dan yet. Alf is here. And Alex is here. Good question. Mike is here. Mike Savage is here. So we go Sloth against. I apologize, Mike. I completely missed that. I was too busy talking to you about your logo to even notice that you were there. And we'll go Sloths against Stanley. Here's something interesting. Um, yeah, I was too sidetracked by stuff. Here's something interesting. Small change for red for Stanley. A little bit of a tactical tweak, you could say, but he sticks to the to the wide. Obviously, has been fairly successful in terms of performances, if not in terms of results so far. And yeah, trying a couple of few new faces. I think Nonato is making his debut. It's going to be interesting to see. A very speedy, technically gifted striker, good dribbling. We'll see if he can do something up against Sloths. Um, Sloths this evening, I am sad to say, have abandoned their roots. The tradition has gone out the window with wingers being introduced in that Sloth side. We've got Doni and Mendieta running the wings, and Brugging alone at the AMC, and yeah. I mean, it was fun while it lasted, but I think the start to the season that they've had Sloths, I think Alf decided that it's probably for the best if he tries to change it up a little bit, get some points on the board, and maybe return to the narrow. I don't know if that's the thinking behind it, but you can have too much of a good thing, and maybe that's the problem with the narrow. But we'll kick this one off anyway and see if Sloths can find a way to the back of the net, which has been a problem for them ever since. For a while anyway. I thought it was Biscuit with the only arrow. I have loaded the tactic, but I can change it if you want. But this is the tactic that that you send. If you prefer like this, it's all good. Oh, okay, as was. Okay, cool. We'll leave it as it was. No problem. And let's see with Sloss against Stanley. Stanley in a lovely yellowy away kit there, looking very tasty. Um, Big questions to be asked here. Big questions to be asked and answered here. Let's see. Even Dimple. Um, and it's Elba. Sloss have indeed found a way to score goals. Arnold Brooking, not far behind with the second for Sloss of the evening. And there you go till half time. There you are. I mean, it comes at the price of abandoning the narrow formation, but there are two goals for Sloss there in the first half. I guess the manager will be fairly pleased with that. Someone who won't be particularly pleased is a Stanley manager. That has not gone well. One shot, and not even on target. We will have a look at the stats. Westerveld is on a 5 after conceding both of those. Back is on a 5, and pretty much everyone else is on a 6. Not entirely sure what went wrong with a formation that had produced such decent quality in the first couple of games. Mike says, as is, hopefully we'll be able to turn this around. Alf says, as is as well. Arnold Broken with the assist, or at least one of them, Amoroso with the other. Alf mentioned he has been waiting for Elba all season, and there is Elba getting in amongst the goals. Will continue until 60 if both managers are happy, and we shall see how it goes. Slowing it down here, as mentioned, just to give both managers a good impression of what's going on before they make the changes at 60, and also to make sure we stop it on time. Amoroso coming forward goes down under a tackle there. Brugink, I think it was, with a dead ball, and there was Elba. He couldn't beat Agat. Biscan coming forward. There's a free kick now. Here comes Mendieta, Brugink, Biscan, and there is Brugink. Fails to find the back of the net. Alf says he has the worst defense in the league. in Quite possibly, but they've not really shown any signs yet. Back to non-scoring ways for Sloths in the second half. Two shots, neither of them on target. Stanley's not improved at all, unfortunately, in those first 15 minutes. Westerveld somehow get a 6 for watching those two shots go over. Arik back, disappointingly for the manager, someone who has been able to deliver in the past from various iterations of the Super League. He's on a 5. Manager won't be too pleased with that. Fitness, I haven't even showed your squad yet, but I will. There you go. Let's see. Brookings is doing well. I'll bring up the screen so you can have a look at them in full HD. It's Christian Rodoni on 84, Sebastian Kiel on 86, and Mendieta on 83. They're the ones doing most of the running. I'll pop back to your match ratings, which are looking good, apart from Mendieta. Really liking the winger role there, Mendieta. You have got, of course, got Roshiki on the bench as a obvious option. Meanwhile, we'll go back to Stanley and see if Mike wants to make any changes. Genuinely disappointed for one of the bastions of not doing it like everyone else has fallen. Um, yeah, there's not going to be a lot of you holding the flag anymore, Mike. I think as I am not managing in the league anymore, then it's it's down to you. I'm afraid. I think. Would you like to make any changes? Is the question. Alf says as is until the end. If you want to uh, throw a creative solution at this problem, then I'm happy to oblige, of course. Meanwhile, evening to Scott, which means that we can have an LSK game coming up next, I believe. With Swapbot and Cheddar, Monasa Forosini, and done. Excellent. Alf mentions that they are notorious for conceding late goals. We will see if that will be the case this evening. We are back to very fast speed and see if Stanley can find the back of the net. And any goal would be very, very helpful for them to put the pressure on Sloss coming up till the end. Still over 20 minutes to play. They had a couple of chances there, Stanley, but it's mainly been Sloth since then. Um, Penalty claim was turned down. Coming up to full time, just a couple more chances to Sloths. It looks like, yeah, nothing there. No saving the morale game turncoat. Indeed. 8 shots, 4 on target. Sloths finally found the back of the net, although they returned to winning wasteful ways after securing those two. But Alf will be delighted. 3 points on the board. That Sloths up to 4. Good start to the season ish for them. They will have to pick up the pace, but as Alf says, the narrow is dead and gone. Oh, that's disappointing news indeed. But we will see. We will see if he changes his mind. We'll see what the rest of the season will bring. Of course, the Stanley stats. It started poorly. It got a little bit better, but disappointing for Mike after that formation had worked out relatively well in the first couple of games to to then fall foul of a non-narrow Sloss formation. Arnold Brooking in full flow there, an assist and a goal, 10 and man of the match. Elber did well as well coming in there. He got the goal and an 8. Other than that, no one below a 7, which is always good news. So congratulations to Sloss, I guess, reluctantly, having ditched the wonderful narrow formation. But I guess, it's all about the getting the points. I guess at the end of the day, players just not having a good day. It happens. Sad news. Hopefully Stanley will be back with another interesting formation. We move on. We have got Foster Road against Los Santos. Both managers are here. One change, I think Saviola comes in for Crespo and Del Piero jumps onto the bench. That's it for Foss Road. It was limited in terms of changes uh, for Scott as well. As I recall, Jeff was onto the bench, perhaps was one. Um, Manager can correct me, but I think that was probably it. Yeah, Jeff was onto the bench for San, I think it was. Either way, it to me, I'm fairly certain it is. But we'll move on with the game. Los Santos, of course, off to a good start. They have 6 points with some big wins there. They had that tough game against Haggis, and they have another tough away game now against Foss Road, and another tough one against Dudley Hill coming up. If they can get, I would say, 3 points, even 2 points from these two games, then that won't be too bad for the manager. Meanwhile, Jeffers gets a squad number. Meanwhile, Foss Road, we're looking 3 points here. They've got the squad, but with Crespo out, Will they get the goals? We will just have to wait and see. First half kicks off. It's Leon Pio picking up a yellow there. That's an early yellow card for him, I think. Something cleared off the line. Huge Foss Road pressure here. Huge Foss Road pressure. But haven't capitalised despite having 10 shots in the first 5 minutes, and this Manuel Petit hits them on the counter, but Trezeguet hits them straight back. 10 minutes in, 2 goals so far, and the chances just keep coming, and then nothing happens for 20 minutes. Of course, we're on the half-hour mark, and say Elias is driving his team back into this. Oh, and Lassisi, I think it was indeed is Lassisi at the back there who's picked up an injury. I believe Sylvester will be the obvious choice coming in here, but it's been a tough game for Los Santos. This one hit Foss Road on the counter with Petit, but haven't been able to create anything since then. But we'll see if Scott will confirm this. But I guess it'll be Silvestre, possibly a swap of the two central defenders. I'm not sure if Silvestre is better on the left. Indeed, he is going to swap with Henshaw. So there we go. That's what it's going to be looking like. 11 minutes until the break. Let's see if Foss Road can capitalize on this, or if Los Santos can keep it at 1-1 until the end of the first half. Milevski coming forward, and there's Petit again. Almost looked as if they were going to sucker punch Foss Road for a second time, but they didn't. 6 shots, 5 on target for Foss Road, 2-2 for Los Santos. We will have a quick look again back at their the stats. Henshaw's on the 5. Disappointing. Sylvester still on 100% fitness, having not much to do. Scott says S is still 60, so we will do that. Lassisi only on 65 fitness, so probably not the worst injury he's had in his career. Meanwhile, over at Foss Road, it's Captain Totti on a 6, and so is Laos Landing Matulin. Everyone is doing pretty well. I did see Smuts earlier. Hopefully he's still here, and he goes as is as well. So, back to the overview and back to the game. Let's see. Second half kicks off. 5 minutes played. Nothing has happened. There comes Elias forward for Foss Road. Henshaw, who is not having a great game, is somehow managing to stop him. There was a yellow card involved there somehow. Not entirely sure who picked that one up. Sambrota into the area. Trezeguet, but Kuhl was called offside. Another yellow card for someone. We'll have a look at that in just a couple of seconds. Who it is picking up those yellow cards. Manuel Petit is taking the game by the scruff of the neck, all by himself here. Shots on target, picking up free kicks, getting brought down. Sorry, you've met TV's traitor. Jeffers for Kessman, swap Shacks and Prosek. That's it. Scott with the super quick instructions here, not even having seen the numbers, but knowing that his team is kind of just about hanging on. Let's do what it is that he asks. We are going to see Francis Jeffers for Kessman, so that'll be the first one. And swap Shacks and Prosek, so we shall do that as well. And Foss Road says as is. They're doing okay. Sambrato's still sitting there, enjoying his assist. Trezeguet has had 4 shots, 4 of them on target. Only managed to find the back of the net once, though. We go back to the last half hour and see if Franny Jeffers can score in his debut. That would be a story, something that I would take much delight from. But it wasn't to be. Second half flew past in a bit of a flash. Evening, Dan. You've missed a bunch of games, but not yours. You've missed a very patient Alex waiting for you. So yeah, 1-1 here between Foss Road and Los Santos. Fairly good game, at least the first hour. The last kind of 30 minutes flew by a little bit. Sort of sides sort of cancelling each other out a little bit. Solid performance Foss Road there, and a good point on the road for Los Santos in what was a fairly poor performance for the majority of their players, to be completely honest. Alex, you mentioned you want to be on early. I hope 10:15 is early enough for you. We will go with you and with Dan next. And there we are. The team picks it. The game picks it. We've got Stackington. A couple of fresh faces in here. Finnan has moved side. Oyas on the right. I believe this is the DMC lineup we agreed on. Rivaldo comes in at AMC, and there is Inzaghi. We have got Damien Duff and Gigu on the bench. couple of new-ish faces or ones that we haven't seen that often. And yeah, that's Stackington's lineup for the evening as they try to get some points on the board against Fulchester. Fulchester also looking for points, and they have changes. Let's be honest. You saw there David Beckham at DMR, another team who's abandoned their formation just as the Sloths were doing. Sepp Frey is back, and the formation is gone. That's the headline at Fulchester. Beckham at DMR, Jagatos DML, Michelini, and not Stewart. Back at the DMC, Materazzi and Lucha at the back. Frey is a very strong looking side, to be honest. Pizarro up top. He was selected as the captain last time out. Dan, if you want to make any changes to the captain, then just let me know. But Pizarro was picked by the game, so I guess it's going to be okay. Yeah, it's been a tough start to the season. You want Michelini as captain, you can have him instead. Um, Tough start to the season, as mentioned for Fulchester, as it was for Stackington. Who will continue to have had a tough start to the season is probably the question that we're looking to answer now. And Fulchester will be taking on Stackington in this one. John Wells being picked, Spider-Man, a tiny injury here, a few days with a sprained wrist shouldn't, of course, affect his playing performance. And that's it. Montargon is on the bench. Yeah, the goalkeeping issues at Fulchester. That's a long story. We'll save that for another time. Who is it going to be and what is it going to be the score this evening? Fulchester, will they start finding the back of the net? Will they keep a clean sheet? Michelini, the captain, opens the scoring for Fulchester on just 6 minutes, but it's Inzaghi who hits straight back. Was it a straight swap for Owen? I can't remember. Anyway, there is Inzaghi. Getting his name on the score sheet for Stackington in that yellow and blue, and then Nielsen for Danielson, not taking any chances with the result, but it's Inzaghi picking up his second. I'm not sure if the goalkeeping issues continues at Fulchester, but they have conceded two here despite scoring two themselves. They're looking at going into the half-time level. Interesting first half, plenty of chances. Good play by both teams. Fulchester had two shots, two on target. Both of them went in. Stackington slightly more creative. And six shots, three on target. Iker Casillas on a 5. Inzaghi doing it all by himself. Assists for Baronio and Oliver Dacour. Apart from the fullbacks who don't really know what they're doing, Oya and Finnan. Yeah, it was 1-1 spots. Your game was 1-1. So yeah, I mean, a little bit of a strange one for Stackington. Inzaghi doing it all by himself here. Meanwhile, over at Fulchester, assist for Dragatos and Pizarro. Manager will be pleased with that. He will also be pleased with the performances by the midfield players here. But Alex on a 6, that's not looking great. D'Alessandro as well on a 6, and Beckham on a 6. A couple of players could do a little bit better, and of course he could stop conceding. It would also be nice for him. Swap Rivaldo and Cole is the only instruction from Alex. And Dan says play on. We shall do that until 60. As mentioned, all the heavy lifting for Stackington has been done by Inzaghi in the first half. Good chance there for Fulchester. Beckham involved in setting that one up. And there's Danielson on a half volley. He has been impressive in the time that he's been at Fulchester as well. And there is this Michelini again, the captain. 3-2 for Fulchester. They are just not giving up, continuing to pile forward and getting the goals. Just have to hope that their keeper can somehow put up a decent enough display that it will actually remain this way. There comes Finland forward. There is Inzaghi. And there is Rivaldo into the box. Looks to the left. There's Cole. Frey fists the ball away. Good time to start making saves for Sebastian Frey. Beckham coming forward, and Baroni gets a talking to the indirect keep free kick. Beckham stands over the ball, ready to deliver it into the box. Managers have their opportunity to make the chances now. Fulchester, as mentioned, came back into this. Staggington's only had one shot since half time. We'll have a look at the performances. It's Casillas still on a 5, Oyas on a 6, Viallis on a 6, and Rivaldo and Cole are not working well together in that AMC role that they have there. Something to think about for the manager, of course. Options on the bench are a striker, a DMC, and a left winger. Damien Duff could potentially come in for Oya with Finnan moving back to the right hand side. That's one of the more obvious sort of changes that could be made. Morientes maybe, but instead of Inzaghi, that seems unlikely. While Alex considers that, we will show the full chest of stats. It was Lucio who got the assist, and as mentioned, Michelini are now on 2 goals. Danielson are still on the 1. Fitness-wise, there are no concerns. D'Alessandro's on an 87. Performance-wise, Alex not having the best game. Alex for Welsh then swap with Beckham. Alex for John Welsh and swap with Beckham. Beckham moving into midfield and Welsh to the fullback, I guess, is what we're doing here. It makes sense. Makes sense. Beckham. Okay, and meanwhile, over at Stackington, push Oya and Finnan forward, please. And Duff for Oya. Yeah. I thought as much. And so we swap them, and then Oya goes off for Duff. Keep the arrows as they are, I guess, or seems likely. Mm. Eight. Good to go. Let's have our coming up. Full test against Stackington. Big, big 25 minutes for Fulchester. If they can hold on here, if they can stop conceding, especially against Inzaghi, manager will be delighted, no doubt. Same for Stackington. They've got to prevent Fulchester from scoring again. They have to obviously create the chances, but they cannot afford to. And just as he said that, it's Inzaghi and it's his hat trick. Will Michelini fire back and get his hat trick as well, or will it remain 3-3? It's Materazzi, surely the winning goal. I think 3 minutes into added time, Fulchester has found 3 points, and it's Materazzi, the unlikely hero. Inzaghi did his best, carrying Stackington to a potential draw, but Materazzi just fired it in there. Stackington, although creating an absolute shitload of chances. A tough luck, Alex. 15 shots, 11 on target. You waited 53 minutes and 40 seconds for this. My apologies, but the great entertainment and a great finish for the neutrals. Game of the season so far, definitely. I mean, Casillas on a 5. Someone has a story about this and how you should only play Casillas in the playoffs and things like that because he's a big game player or whatever. But anyway, Inzaghi with 9 shots, 6 of them on target and 3 goals. I mean, something was working very well for Stackington. Just a little bit unlucky that the keeper had a bit of a moment or four during this particular game. Assists for Beckham. Beckham and then would then be the one who got the final assist for Materazzi. Michelini, unsurprising. Well, I say unsurprisingly, Inzaghi had 3. He had 2, and he was on the winning side, so I guess that went well. John Wells came in and did a great job. So congratulations, Fulchester, and commiseration, Alex. Great game. Lots of goals, lots of excitement, lots of interesting performances, good and bad. Definitely one of the games of the season, if not the game of the season so far. We are not far in, but huge entertainment value in this one. We have saved the best till last. I say the best because it's 2 teams who have an unbeaten record, and there aren't many of them left in the league. But Vikings is one of them. Kluivert remains on the bench, and I think Hersey comes on to the bench for Pires. I think that was The change, not a lot. I mean, it's been such a good start to the season for Vikings in terms of the results. You've got to be very brave to start changing that up. So that's how they line up this evening. They're up against East Coast, who have had a couple of I won't say rotations, but swapped a few peoples around with Ronaldinho coming back in, Scholes moving back into to defensive midfield, and Emerson and Addo sort of taking up their positions at the DMC again. Shimkoviak had a decent game last time out, so he stays on. Castroman lurking on the bench, no doubt waiting to pounce. Is East Coast at home? They are the reigning champions. They are unbeaten. It's a very, very tough test for Steve, who's obviously coming for Paul and taking over at Vikings. Good start to the season, but this is his first, I would say, really, really tough test. East Coast taking on the Vikings in the last game of the evening. Reigning champions, looking to keep up the great start to the season, the winning ways, the dominant performance they've already established. And there is Rustico opening the scoring. Ronaldinho is not slow to follow him. We are coming up to halftime, and East Coast have been all over this one. They are 2-0 up. Great football from them again there. Del Vecchio trying his best for Vikings, but that went by in a blink of an eye, and East Coast. Uh, yeah, they put the hammer down in that first half. Uh, Dimple not wanting to leave any doubts about who is the reigning champion here and who is the upstart, and the result at the oh, sorry the result the standings here at halftime shows that. Assist for Kovalchuk, assist for Shimkoviak, 7 8s and 9s across the board. Rustico on at 9. Incredible defensive display from him with 9 tackles, 8 of them won, 3 of them key as well. Paul Scholes not doing too bad in tackling either, and Lilian Thuram, who's had a bit of a shaky start to his East Coast career, with a very solid performance there, not beaten at all. 3 tackles, 3 of them won. Over at Vikings, Kiotis has not had a brilliant start to the game. Neither is anyone else, to be completely honest. Shevchenko's on a 6, so is Lopez, Liverani, Van Bommel, Pogba, and Yepes. Rio Ferdinand and the wing-backs doing a half-decent job, so is Del Vecchio. Lots of passes from him. Only one of them key, though. In terms of tackling, it's been Van Bommel, Liverani not really getting involved in the defensive work, but we'll see if that changes in the second half. Up to Steve, of course, if he wants to make any changes at this stage. He has got Patsasoglu, Hersey, and Kluivert on the bench. I'll be surprised if we don't see Kluivert at some point this evening. Perhaps not at halftime, maybe at 60. But let's see what Steve says to this one. Cleveland versus Coast and Barrow versus Grimsby may have to go into hibernation soon. Yeah, it could be a tough watch for you, of course, as is for now, says Steve. Hoping that his team's going to find a way back into this one. Quick goal here in the second half, and it could be all change at the Pele's Kippy Uppy Pills Arena. Shevchenko strikes with fury, but Bartes saves that easily. An absolute rock at the back he has been, Bartes as well. Big part of East Coast success as well, of course. 60 minutes now played. Will there be a chance here? It looks as if it's going to be for East Coast, just as we look to pause the game. Yellow card for Liberani. That's all that happened there. Quiet-ish start to the second half, and presume that Vikings will do a couple of changes, and Dimple will probably stick, but we'll bring it up anyway. 7s and 8s everywhere. Ambrosino, Castroman, and Torres are on the bench. No fitness concerns, and performance-wise, everyone is doing good. Rustico doing even better actually, but somehow dropped to an 8. And Lilian Thuram still with 4 and 4, doing very well in the defense for East Coast. Meanwhile, Andrew Shevchenko have dropped to a 5. Liverani is on a 6 on a yellow card. Yepes is on a 6 as well. Dimple says Ambrosini for Scholes. We will do that quickly, and we will come back to the Vikings. Yeah, plenty of the manager to consider here. Does he want to bring in the creative power of Josef Hersey, and the goal scoring prowess of Patrick Kluivert? It's likely to be honest. He's got to do something here to find at least a point, if not all three. They've not looked threatening at all. And indeed, Liverani goes off. Hersey comes on. Kluivert comes for Shevchenko. Poor performing players being replaced by better performing ones, possibly. Uh, AMC to AMC. I'm guessing something like this. Do you want any arrows? That's it. Excellent. Clover should be playing, in my opinion. Yeah, well, I mean, maybe he should, but it's a winning team. Do you want to change it? I don't know. You've kept underperforming rubbish on when you've doing well in the past year, I'm sure. Anyway, let's kick off the last half hour here. See if East Coast can hang on to this one. Uh, hasn't been much of them to worry about, but there is Claudio Lopez getting one back for Vikings. Will they find the equalizer or will East Coast hang on? They are the reigning champions, of course. Uh, it looks as if they can, and it looks as if they might even create something here at the end. But Kiotis with a couple of good saves. Oof, and it got a little bit exciting there at the end. Uh, not a heart-stopping not heart-stopping moment really for East Coast there, I guess. But Vikings certainly put up a fight in the second half, taken a little bit by surprise there early on. But of course, tough game against the reigning champions, but put up a good display there. Kluivert with the assist, and yeah, he started better than me. Thanks for that, Martin. Indeed, indeed. Yeah, decent from Vikings. Decent second half for Vikings there, definitely. Um, Mountain to climb after the two early goals. Indeed, it was Steve. Indeed, and as mentioned, reigning champions. You're away from home. That's never going to be that easy, especially with Rustico in this kind of form. There's a 9 for him, a 9 for Emerson as well, a 9 for Kovalchuk, and yeah, I mean, Iron Robin on an 8, not getting involved in the goals, and Constantino not either. And that's probably the only consolation the rest of the league can take from this, as the East Coast looks to have set the dials for the first spot in the league. Let's see how the league table looks after this one. We have got East Coast on 12 points, 4 wins from 4. Exiles just behind them. So are Haggis, the two Scotsmen there on 9. Los Santos on 7, and so are Badgers. Vikings on 6. With 3 games, so the best of the 3 game teams. Dudley Hills on 6, Foss Road behind them 4, Northern Burn only on 4, but also only played 3 games. Sloss with that win, up to 4 points. Fulchester winning as well now on 3, and Stanley and Sanctay are at the bottom with only 3 goals between them and 14 conceded. Not ideal. Results, you've just seen them. We don't need to dwell on that. Next up, we have got Badgers against Sloths, Dudley against Los Santos. Exiles take on Fulchester. Tough one for Fulchester. Let's hope their keeper doesn't concede as easily as he did in the beginning of tonight's game. He's not up against Insaki though, which is bound to help. Northern Burn East Coast. Stackington at home to Foss Road, another mouth-watering tie. Stanley takes on Haggis, and Vikings host Sanctay. That's where we're going to leave it. Hopefully Steve will be here next week to entertain you all, as well as me. And that'll be after game week 5, so we'll start seeing some stats, etc. Packs will be out in the morning, and that's pretty much it. Thank you very much, guys. It was a pleasure, as usual. I'll speak to you again soon.